Welcome to Proverbs 31 Woman. She speaks with wisdom. And this episode, we're talking about your business is a calling and not a side hustle. Let me ask you something. Are you treating your business like a calling or like a side hustle? Because the way you treat it will determine the fruit it produces. And here's the truth. He will never give you a gift without expecting you to multiply it and live in overflow. Your gift is from God. You want to recognize who the gift is from. Romans 11:29 says, "For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable." That thing inside you, the skill, the experience, the story, the message, that's not random. It's not a coincidence. That gift is evidence of your assignment. Think about it. When God gave Noah the blueprint for the ark, He wasn't just handing him a cool idea. It was the answer to a global problem. Your gift works the same way. It's an arc for someone. But here's the danger. When you treat your gift or your God-given business like a side hustle, you bury what heaven has designed to save and deliver lives. Always remember, you have been called to multiply your gifts. Matthew 25:14-30, the parable of the talent. Do you remember that parable? We know the story. The master gave the servants 5 talents, another 2, another 1. The first 2 multiplied. The last one buried his talent in fear. And so many can resonate with that right now. Here's what's wild. He wasn't called wicked and lazy because he stole or lied or cheated. He was condemned because he did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He just sat there. And then he was probably drowning in overthinking, fear, doubt, hesitation, wondering, is the master going to come and get his gift back? Instead of looking at how can I multiply this so that when my master comes, he'll meet it better than he left it. It was all thought. What are you thinking? The level of growth you have internally will be equal to the level of growth externally. So if you see people doing very well now, creating $1 million brands, they have gone through that level of growth internally, and you're seeing that manifest in the physical externally. They have done the work as well, right? And that's what many of us do, right? We sit on our business ideas, we hide behind the fear of judgment. What will others think? What will people say? If I just set up my camera and start talking, what will my mom say? What will my brother say? What will my friends say? Right? We undercharge because we think that we are here to serve everybody. We undercharge because we think that if we actually charge what we are worth, we're sinning. Yeah, some people think that way. If we keep playing small, thinking it's safe, that's the biggest one. The biggest one most Christian entrepreneurs do is they play small because they think it's safe. But trust me, playing it safe is disobedience because that's not what God has called you for. And disobedience will cost you. It hasn't just cost you. It costs all the people who are supposed to receive from you the transformation that your gift provides. Imagine a doctor who had the cure to COVID and he decided that he was going to keep it locked up because he didn't feel ready, he didn't feel qualified, he didn't think it worked. What would have happened if he buried his gift? Can you imagine the millions that would have died if the COVID vaccine was not released because the doctor felt he wasn't ready and qualified? Just imagine the calamity that would have occurred. Imagine the calamity that would have occurred if that happened. And when God gives you a gift, you want to have higher impact. And in order to have higher impact, I take it is equal to higher impact. Luke 10:7 says, "The laborer is worthy of his wages." This is where so many marketers in business get it wrong. They think charging more makes them greedy, but charging less doesn't make you holy either. It makes you unavailable to the clients that you have been called to serve. If you charge low, you will have so many clients, you won't be able to serve at a higher capacity. And you won't be able to make the income that is enough to fund kingdom projects because spreading the word of God takes money. So when you undercharge, what are you doing? You burn yourself out of serving everyone. Like I said, you have so many clients, and so you burn yourself out. You attract people who don't value the transformation. When you pay attention. When you pay 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K, how you will show up will be different from when you pay $100. So when you pay and there's a hole in your pocket, you put on your big girl panties and you show the hell up to make it work, right? So you attract people who don't value the transformation. You limit the growth of the kingdom through your business. So when you play small, you can't grow, you can't scale to multiple to millions. And when you can't scale to millions, you can't feed the people God has called you to feed through charity, donations. You cannot do the work of God because you're playing small. And so you are barely making it. Your business might not be making as much profit as you can. You'll be frustrated, you'll burn out. And that's not the kind of life God has called you to be. God has called you to move from barely surviving to thriving. And thriving means you're making profit in excess that you can donate. You can pay school fees of other kids, less fortunate kids. So you limit the growth. You limit your potential when you play safe. It might seem comfortable and easy to do, but you're killing the vision. Think about it. Luxury brands don't apologize for their price. Why? Because the value is clear, the positioning is strong, and the transformation is undeniable. If the world understands this principle, how much more should we as kingdom women? Because when you position your gift as premium, you create the space to serve with excellence and at a higher capacity. And in that excellence, that creates life-changing transformation. Now, I want to talk about something very important with regards to your gift. When God gives you your gift, He expects you to steward it with excellence, not with mediocrity. Galatians 3:23 says, what you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Excellence is worship. When you do things excellently, you stand out. You're able to serve kings. You're able to attract kings because you are going above and beyond, right? Sloppiness, confusion, and mediocrity doesn't honor God. That's not the God we serve. No, He is not. He's the God of abundance. He's the God of exceedingly abundantly above all that we can think, ask, or imagine. Look at Solomon's temple. That temple was gold, full of gold, very detailed, precision, full of precision, because God deserves nothing less, right? Your business is the same. You must demonstrate the spirit of excellence in your messaging, in your brand, in your offers. That's not vanity. That's stewardship. That is telling God that I appreciate the gift you've given me and I'm going to give it out in the best form. I'm going to over deliver. I'm going to give what I said, not what you ordered and it comes in different. No. When you show up with clarity and boldness, you make it easy for the right people to recognize your value. Mediocrity, it hides you. Excellence, it reveals you. And it doesn't just reveal you, reveals you to kings and queens. Excellence enables you to dominate the marketplace because nobody does it the way you do. That level of excellence can precede your name. Now let's talk about the last thing that one must do with their calling. Wealth requires bold packaging. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, remember the Lord, for it is He who gives you the power to obtain wealth, that He may establish His covenant. Kingdom impact requires wealth. You can't make an impact in the kingdom without resources. Kingdom wealth requires courage. That's why God kept saying to Joshua, be strong and courageous. It was said so many times, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. For God has not given us a spirit of fear. You cannot play small and build big. How does it? The God math is not mathing. How can you expect to play small and build big? It doesn't work. You cannot whisper your gifts and expect the nations to hear it. It's like a city under a hill that cannot be hidden. You are the light of the world. However, let your light shine. So you gotta put yourself out there, right? Your gifts need to be packaged boldly. It needs to be positioned at a premium price. And you need to have a voice of authority. When Jesus came, He had so much authority and He stood out with His parables. He didn't come to blend in. He stood out and He made massive impact. Everywhere He went, He was doing good. When you treat your business like a calling, not a side hustle, you shift from hustling to thriving. You shift from hustling for scraps to still streams of income. You now go into the place where you are building a legacy. You are breaking curses. You are passing down generational wealth. And you can't do that without stewardship. So here's the thing. Your business isn't just for you. It's for your children. It's for your it's for your communities, for your church. It's for your parents. It's for the kingdom. Generational wealth, legacy, influence, it all flows when you multiply what God has placed in you. So that's what the bigger picture is about. So if you play small, how the hell are you going to build generational wealth? How the hell are you going to build a legacy for your kids? How the hell are you going to make an impact in the kingdom? How are you going to do it by playing small? Because playing small doesn't make an impact. Playing small is looking for scraps. So let me ask you again. Are you treating your business like a calling or a side hustle? One leads to multiplication, legacy, and kingdom wealth. The other leads to buried gifts, missed impact, and years of regret. The wealth is waiting for the gift you carry. Only you carry that gift. Don't bury it. Multiply it. Share this with another woman of God who is hiding her gift, who is burying her gift, and who is denying generations a life-changing impact that can break them and set them free from chains of poverty. Share this to that woman who has told you she has a gift but she's scared to move. See you on the next episode.